Click, click, boom, dynamite. What is going on, faithfuls? We are back again, the Nothing But Niners crew. I'm joined tonight by C. McCarver Jr., also Anthony in the house. Guys, look, before I get anything started at this fan interaction show tonight, let me go through all the formalities. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Snapchat, Nothing But 9ERS. Facebook and Instagram, Nothing But Niners, all spelled out. If you have any questions, you can send them over through email, the number 9ERS at nothingbutniners.com. You can check out our website, nothingbutniners.com. Slew of great writers over there. You can also find all of our social media avenues and platforms over there as well. Find our podcasts, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play, wherever. We're all over the place. So, guys, it is free agency week, and we have been coming to you with breaking news. But tonight, we're going to talk about all that stuff with our guest, you guys as the faithful, as well as get into some fan interaction, some questions. If you want to jump on video, you can. Once I open the phone lines, you can give us a call. I'll post that number in the chat. I'll tell you it also, 628-888-3443. Once again, 628-888-3443. If you're on Twitter, you can find us at Nothing But 9ERS and hashtag Ask NB9ERS, and we will check that out as well. Chuck, it's been a long time, baby. I haven't seen you since the home opener. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much, man. Just living life, and repping these Niners when I can, man. Getting excited about these moves, man. I can't wait till this season starts, man. Even though we haven't hit the draft yet, but I'm already excited, man. Already looking forward to, busting quarterbacks in the mouth now, man, because we're working on that pass rush. You feel me?
Are working on it. We're working crazy on that pass rush, which is a good thing. Before we get into that, tell everybody where they can find you on Twitter and your YouTube channel, just so everybody knows we can get that out of the way.
Yeah, Twitter and YouTube and Instagram as well, if you want to go there as well. Just type in C. McCarver Jr. That's CMCCARBERJR. C. McCarver Jr. Niners all day. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for joining us tonight, and I can't wait to dig into this with you. Anthony, what's going on, baby?
What's going on, guys? It's good to talk about this tonight. Niners are making some pretty crazy moves. I'm not going to lie. At the beginning of this period, I wouldn't have told anyone, we're going after Jason Verrett or Jordan Matthews or even Tevin Coleman. So it's going to be interesting to talk about, and it's going to be interesting to talk to you guys as the fans. So we're all here to talk about it, and we're all here to break it down with you guys. Let's get it rolling.
And where can everybody find you at, Ant? Just let everybody know.
I got to change the Twitter handle so it's not as long, but for now, guys, the Twitter ad is Anthony Perry, Perry 925 altogether. Anthony Perry 925, and catch all the Niners stuff. I try to tell everyone everything as much as I can because it's a crazy offseason for our guys, and we're ready for the ride, all of us.
Yeah, man. Guys, I haven't checked in the chat yet, but I just want to get through some of these things first. Chuck, what has been by far your favorite move so far in free agency?
D4, man. All I've been talking about is getting to the quarterback, man. All off season, man. That's just what I want. If we got D4, then we can possibly get Nick Bosa. You know what that means, man? Oh my gosh. And then, with pass rush, that makes the secondary look better. Adding Jason Verrett also. Hopefully a healthy Jason Verrett.
Look,
we're going to change the game, man.
That is such a low-risk, high-reward type of signing right there, and everybody's, riding all over John Lynch about signing these guys with ACLs and stuff like that. Alexander there was a video just posted from a doctor, and he tagged like Niners Nation in it, and we reposted it on Nothing But 9ERS, but on Twitter. But go and check that video out because the doctor basically tells the goods and the bads and what is going on with ACLs nowadays. And he basically says that players can come back to form, the same type of form or better from an ACL injury. There's a 5.2% chance of a re-injury in the NFL. And we know it's a hard game. The NFL with ACLs is just getting worse and worse league-wide. It's not just players or anything like that. We're not talking about muscle injuries or things like that. But the good thing he said was it's approximately 10 months of recovery time for running and cutting and stuff like that. So that will put Alexander from October to August. So he should be good and ready to go opening day. He should be good and ready to go for opening day of the season. And he'll miss a little bit of training camp and OTAs and stuff like that, but I'm sure that he'll be doing walkthroughs and things like that and learning the system and stuff like that. Jason Verrett, on the other hand, is another, he had an Achilles injury. I couldn't find really anything. It just said ESPN stated it was an Achilles injury, but I think he did say that his Achilles feeling a lot better during a little interview that he did. That is definitely a low risk, high reward type of signing. If he is healthy, he is one of the best corners in the league. Pairing him with Sherman, I feel bad for Akello, but then again, I don't, because I want the two best prospects or two better players on the field at all times. The signing of Jimmy Ward kind of threw me off, but then it doesn't throw me off because A, yes, he's had a lot of injuries, but B, he can play every single position in the back end of that defense. So he's depth. He may start at the safety role again, which he's not as bad at the safety role as he is playing corner. So, he is actually a true safety. That's what he played in college. So I agree with the D Ford signing being my favorite. If you had to grade that with what we gave up in a 2020 second round pick, not giving up draft capital this year and still acquiring that and then paying him 5 years, $87.5 million, what kind of grade would you give that on an A to F rating?
Maybe, oh God, A minus, B plus, I would say.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree with that. Anthony, everything that I just said, give me your feelings on with the D Ford signing, the Verrett signing, and none of us even talked about Jordan Matthews yet. So, that was another big signing today.
That was good.
What are your thoughts, Anthony?
Well, I think we'll start with the skinny. I think the signing of Jason Verrett, if he's healthy, means that Ward can almost permanently move back to safety. Because my ideal look is that Verrett, if he's healthy, could very well be cornerback one on this team. I think it's a similar situation to Sherm. I don't think Verrett has lost his speed. We don't know, honestly. But I think Verrett still has the capabilities to be starting cornerback one on our team. And like you said, I don't really like pushing Witherspoon down, but I want the two best guys on the field. And I would much rather Verrett and Sherman than Verrett and AK or Verrett and Moore, whatever the case be. So with that being said, I like the Verrett move overall. It's a very, very low risk, high reward move. 1 year, $3.6 million for a all pro caliber cornerback if he's healthy, honestly. And I don't think that it's just a 1 year rental either. That's what I feel. If Verrett works out and if cap space works in our favor next season, because as far as we know, Buckner is really the only big guy we have to re-sign, right? Compared to the other guys. So Buckner is likely the guy to eat up most of our cap for next season, which is totally fine. Buckner should be priority. But now we have guys like Verrett and even Matthews who are coming on 1 year contracts, and depending on how they do, they could very well be multi-year guys too if everything works out. So getting Verrett on the low like this is an absolutely great move for a secondary that needs a lot more help. Because I have kind of vocally said that I don't like Tavarius Moore at cornerback. I wish he'd just play free safety. It was his natural position coming out of college. It should be his natural position in the NFL, but we've seen that Salah and these guys like to move guys around on defense. So we'll see how that plays out. But overall, the Verrett signing is an A+. I really, really like it because if it doesn't work out, you're not missing out on much, honestly. And if it does work out, then honestly, you could say our secondary could be top 10. I know it sounds a little weird, but Sherman and Barrett are an amazing combo. If Ward and Tart work out well, they could be a great safety tandem too. Maybe not elite, but very well starting caliber that could make a huge impact. And with that being said, I want to move on to Quan Alexander too. My overall favorite signing was Quan Alexander. And I know some people look at it like, oh, it was just a kind of a need signing. Well, I do agree with that, but I also agree with the idea that Alexander brings a lot of youth and a lot of athleticism to a linebacking core that needs it. Outside of Warner, there weren't really any studs at the position, and quite frankly, Alexander is a stud. People overlook the ACL injury. Like Nick said, there's only a 5% chance that it gets re-injured. I will absolutely take those odds on a talent like Alexander. Like I said, he brings athleticism and he brings energy to a linebacking core that's just been flat for quite a while.
Yeah,
And
you know
aside
the
from
best.
ACL, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say the best thing about that is that it's essentially a 1-year prove it deal because they can easily get out of it after the first year. If they go into the second year, then you're paying more money, obviously. But up front right now, it's basically prove to us that you're going to be better, and we'll keep you, basically. So I really like that signing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to.
No, I was going to get to that. It seems like a lot of money at first, and quite frankly, it kind of is. But you have to look at the potential and what Quan Alexander can bring to this team. Like Nick said, the first year is really just a prove it deal. And if he gets over that hump and he plays well, then we can see why he was worth the money. I get it that he has a missed tackle problem, but stuff like that can not only be fixed, but really it can be explained. If anyone watches the Tampa Bay film of Alexander, you see that this guy will shoot gaps, he'll cover tight ends. It's like on the field, his priority is just ball first. Whoever he sees with the ball is just go after that guy. And that's what I like about this Alexander the most out of anything we've really done outside of Ford is because we need someone instinctive. We need someone that's just hungry to make a play. And again, we haven't had that on this defense in a long time, and Alexander brings that.
Interceptions as well, too.
And interceptions. I believe he has 6 career interceptions. And a lot of people think, oh, 6 isn't a lot. But when you're a middle inside linebacker who can make plays, 6 is on the other end of the world of what we need.
And how many did we get last season?
2.
NFL record low 2 interceptions.
You know, it's not even just interceptions. With the additions of D Ford and the additions of Alexander, both of them are ball hawks. You know, D Ford at one point had 8 strip sacks. He gets the ball out of the quarterback's hands all the time. You're talking about 6 interceptions and fumbles with Alexander because they both come. Alexander comes and lays the wood, and that's why he misses so many tackles because he's either going to lay you out or he's going to bounce off you and somebody else is going to finish it up. And if you go back and watch this kid's tape, that's basically what you see. You see him around the ball all the time, and he's coming in for that big hit, and it's kind of that not wrapping up fundamental hitting. It's kind of the old Dante Whitner and Deshaun Goldson hitting where they're just going to lay their shoulders into you, and if you don't fall, then all praise glory to you because I'm laying the wood. And that's how Quan Alexander plays. He plays fast. He plays instinctive, you know, and he's just bringing the hitting all day long. So that to me, those are 2 big signings in the middle of the defense that we need. It also allows us to look at Malcolm Smith's contract after the restructure and see what happens after this 90-man roster because we can still save, I think, like $1.2 million if we cut him post June 1st. If I'm correct, I looked up the numbers yesterday. But let me just say what's up to some people in the room: Luke Walsh, Terrell Cox, Gucci Boy, David Lopez, Jesus Christ My King. Man, we got a lot of our normals in here. Niner Empire, Niner Joe Empire, David Lopez, I already said, Jeff Connolly. Guys, just want to say thanks and for joining tonight. If you want to ask any of us questions, just type it in the chat. I'm watching that as we speak, and I'll get to those questions that you have. Pineapple TV, what's going on? Theo, what's up? Nicholas Worth, what's up? D. Philpott, Justin Bennett. Jesus Lamont from Mexico says hi. What's going on, Mexico fam?
Hola.
All right, so Luke has a question. He says, with Coleman, Shanny can play his offense despite questions about McKinnon. So let's talk about that a little bit because everybody in 49ers Empire or 49ers Twitter is like, oh my God, that's it for Jerick McKinnon. Or are we going to cut Breida? Guys, you heard today, and I'll just start this off. You heard Kyle Shanahan say today that it's not abnormal for people to use 4 running backs on a team. The Patriots do it all the time. Now, Kyle Shanahan didn't say that, but they do. It's not difficult for you to carry 4 running backs, and the way that it's looking is like that's the way it's going to be. And if you come out here, and I'm including Juice in there as well, because Juice isn't going anywhere. Just imagine a 21 set or a 31 set, whatever you want to call it, 2 backs and a fullback in the backfield, or 1 split out wide with Tevin Coleman, split out wide with Jerick McKinnon in the backfield with Juice. Dude, the play action is going to be insane. Like, it's just going to be insane. But what are your thoughts on that, Chuck? We'll go to you first. Do you think the Niners cut anybody off of the running back list? Now, right now we have we'll leave Juice out of it because he's a fullback. But let's go Coleman, McKinnon, Breida, Mostert, and Wilson Jr. What do you think? A lot of people are saying that Mostert has to stay because of his special team play. But what is your opinion on the whole situation?
I would say that same exact thing. Mostert has to stay because of special teams. If we keep 4, not including Juice Check, man, that's a 3-headed monster. Though when you have McKinnon, Breida, Coleman, man, defenses will be tired after that second half, and we're just going to continue to rack up yards. So we have to keep them 3. Jerick McKinnon is safe. You guys have to. I think. Most of those questions, are those questions coming from Niner fans? You say they're coming from Niner fans, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, a lot of people are on Twitter. I've seen, why did we sign Tevin Coleman? There's no room for people on here. This automatically means Jerick McKinnon's going to be cut. When really, I mean, we can save money because post Jerick McKinnon, post June 1st, I think it's like a $2.5 million cap hit of dead money. So it's still a possibility. But I really don't believe that Kyle Shanahan's going to get rid of McKinnon before seeing him in his system in a season. But
that's part of Shanahan's game plan. I mean, if you guys pay attention to that Vikings game last year, McKinnon was hurt, and a lot of that gameplay was based around McKinnon and stuff. So, but these 3 guys, Shanahan could really show us what he has. And I really, truly believe that there's going to be defenses out there struggling to play us. Not even talking about what else we have with George Kittle and everything like that, but just these running backs alone. Shanahan can go to work for real. And you guys, I think for all the Niner fans that have questions about it, just go back and see a few Falcon games when Shanahan was there and just to see exactly how he operates. And then you can see exactly what he's trying to do. We're trying to tear these defenses up, man. They're not going to be able to catch up with us if we stay healthy, and that is the key. But, yeah, man, I'm excited, man.
We went through 6 or 7 running backs last year with injuries, right? And we never really got to see opportunity with Breida and McKinnon, how it was supposed to play out. Now, Breida stepped up his game, and yes, he had a lingering ankle injury, and I get tired of hearing people say he's injury-prone or whatever because he had that lingering ankle injury, but he was also saying, let me go, let me go, let me go, and we had a really, really crappy strength and conditioning over the last 3 years. We've had like 111 guys go on the IR over the last 3 years. So
unbelievable.
Yeah, so that has definitely changed. But when I look at Tevin Coleman, and what I see from him is he definitely runs the ball in between tackles, the same as McKinnon does and the same as Breida. They all have very big bursts. They're all like 4.5 guys. I think he's a 4.52 or 4.49 in Tevin. They all have speed. But the thing that impresses me the most, other than Tevin Coleman's ability to catch, is, man, if he's going one way to the right and he plants his opposite foot, his cutback is insane. I mean, if you go and watch these tapes, go and watch the video that the San Francisco 49ers tweeted out if you have Twitter, and just watch these plays. They have like 30 or 40 plays on there. And watch his cutbacks and the way that he cuts back to a hole. It's just amazing. It's amazing. So Chuck, are you in agreement that the only reason I'm against if we keep 3 backs and a fullback, because if we keep 4 and a fullback, then that's 5 guys that we're keeping.
Yeah.
I understand, and I'm just going to say my point about Mostert, and then we'll get into we'll ask you what you think real quick, and then we'll go to Anthony. But Mostert plays special teams. He can run the ball as well, but more so he's a special teams guy. From what we've seen, other than when Breida started getting hurt, before he broke his arm, he was running the ball well. Kyle Shanahan's system is a running back system. It's a running back and a receiver system. He schemes running backs to the way that they need to be. Now, don't get me wrong in that and say that it's only a running back scheme, but Mostert really just plays special teams a whole lot. That's what he is. He's a special teams ace, and his agent didn't seem too happy about signing the tender, and then us going out and getting when he said that Mostert is the second best running back on this team. I don't agree with that, not one bit. I love Mostert, but Kyle Shanahan makes it an emphasis that your running backs, he has made it as an emphasis that he likes his running backs to play special teams. But Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, and Jerick McKinnon bring more to the team than just Raheem Mostert does. So if Raheem Mostert's a special team ace, Breida can play special teams. He just didn't play last year because of the fact that he was the go-to guy once McKinnon went down. So if it's up to you, are you keeping 4 backs and a fullback, or are you keeping 3 backs and a fullback?
It's really hard to answer that question because it'll have to come down to the 53-man roster. If it's like another player, like I'll tell you like this. If it came down to a 53, and if I had to pick somebody to leave, so Mostert could stay, like Jimmy Ward. I'm tired of him getting hurt. I'm just he can play when he's healthy, but I'm just tired of him getting hurt. I think that's just a waste of a roster space, basically. Waste of a roster space. So it would really come down to who all we're trying to keep on this team and who we have to, push out. But I like Mostert to be on this roster, but it just comes down to it. But out of that whole group, oh yeah, that most definitely would be the one at the bottom.
The guy to go, yeah.
Yeah.
And, I totally agree with you with Jimmy Ward. But also, here's another thing to keep an eye out all through camp, guys.
Broke bones and harmony.
Yeah. Everybody's in here saying, what up, Tupac? You know that. But let me rephrase this, and then we'll get to Anthony real quick. What was I going to say now? Oh, here's the thing to look for in camp. Right now we have 3 quarterbacks, guys.
Oh.
Before the running back started, we probably would have kept all 3 quarterbacks. But here's the opportunity to look out to going through camp between CJ Beathard and Nick Mullins, because one of those 2 could either be dropped or traded before the league year starts, and we only carry 2 quarterbacks. So that's something to watch. But Anthony, what's your take on the whole backs, 3-headed, 4-headed monster, whatever you want to call them? What's your whole take on it?
I gotta agree with Chuck too. If we decide to keep 4 running backs, I think someone maybe even on the defensive side of the ball would go. And I like the Ward signing a lot if he's healthy, but at the same time, I'm tired of the injuries. It's amazing that they bring back someone who's so oft injured. I think they bring him back because of his versatility and what he offers, but I would much rather leave the running backs on the roster, cut Ward, and have someone like, I sound like fanboy, but Tavarius Moore, who can play both DB and free safety if he has to. Although I don't think he has really any snaps at the safety position, he still knows it, and it's still something you could at the least try to plug and play him just in case. But with that being said, though, I'm looking at it right now, and the 1 year that Shanahan got to really have Coleman in his second year outside of him being a rookie, Coleman was almost 1,000 scrimmage yard guy. And keep in mind, Tevin Coleman was behind Devontae Freeman all season.
Mm-hmm.
Tevin Coleman, I'm looking at it, didn't start a single game, and Tevin Coleman only played 13 games. In that 2016 year, he rushed for 8 touchdowns, caught 3 touchdowns. averaged 4.5 yards per carry on 118 carries as a backup. That is absolutely unbelievable. If your backup can do that, that not only shows me that you're capable of being on the team, you deserve a spot on the team, and Coleman could very well be running back one. Now, that's another question that we got to get to before we move on. Who is running back one? That is going to be the biggest debate and biggest question mark come OTAs and come training camp. Coleman is proven. Although McKinnon's been hurt, he's somewhat proven in Minnesota. And obviously, Breida has shown it to us. The only thing about it is that McKinnon and Breida are both injury prone. Coleman, as far as I see, he's played in almost every game he's ever been on the roster. So that's my question to you guys is, who's your running back one? And who's going to come out with the winner? I want to keep 4 running backs. Let's make that clear. Special teams value for Raheem Mostert is the reason why he's on this team. Let's get that straight. But we've seen why and how important special teams is for this team. Last season, I think we gave up 1 touchdown, 1 kick return touchdown, or 1 punt. I forget what it was, but just seeing that is like, oh, it's so frustrating. And it shows you why a guy like Raheem Mostert is so valuable, because he's a running back that could tackle an open field. And aside from that, the guy gets that guys on special teams, and you couldn't ask for more than a guy like that from him. So Mostert deserves to be on the roster. Breida, Jet, and Coleman all do too. But like I said, who's running back one for you guys? Because that's going to be a huge question mark come OTAs.
To me, I don't even think it's a question of who's running back one, because I don't think Kyle Shanahan's going to look at it as running back one. It's just going to be, they're going to be all over the field. And yeah, you may come out first, and maybe McKinnon comes out 1 game first. Maybe Coleman comes out 1 game first. Maybe Breida comes out 1 game first. The point of that whole thing is to throw defenses and defensive coordinators off as to where they game plan. Dude, we could come out 1 game with all Breida. We could come out the next game with all Coleman.
Yeah.
We could come out the next game with all McKinnon. Like, that's just the things that they could do, and then splurt each one in here and there. And, you know, week 1, McKinnon can get 22 of the 35 carries that we have. You know what I mean? But between the other, you know, let's just say 25 to 35. Between the other snaps, you get 5 for Breida and 5 for Coleman. The next week, Coleman could come out and take 20 snaps of the 30 snaps, and then 5 for McKinnon and 5 for it's a matchup nightmare, because you have no idea how to game plan. Who are they using this week? Are they using Coleman? Are they using Breida? Are they using McKinnon? Like, there's no. I wouldn't put an emphasis on it as a running back one, because I think they're all running back ones, in all 3 of those. Now, if you take Breida and put him behind a Bell, or you put any of these guys behind a Bell, obviously they're a number 2 guy, but they're all going to be the bell cows here. And it's just a matter of week to week and matchup to matchup of who starts and where they're lined up. Because I'm telling you, you put Breida in the backfield or McKinnon in the backfield, put them in an eye with Juice there, and you can have Juice roll out to the left, fake the handoff to Breida, but Coleman's in the out lined up wide as a receiver. He's going to burn whoever he's on. Not only does that help, it helps Kittle with a linebacker. Breida goes up with the fake through the middle, and Juszczyk rolls out to the side for a rollout pass. There's just so many things you can do with that many pieces on offense. So I don't want to decline your question or answering it, but I just really don't think there's going to be a running back one. I think they're going to be, like I said, utilized every week differently of who you keep. And just, man, it's making me drool thinking about that. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, it's so exciting.
Is Garoppolo even going to throw more than 20 times?
Yeah, I mean, he will, because our backs are good. Our backs will go out a lot more. I mean, you see Tevin Coleman's going to line up on the outside a lot. McKinnon will line up on the outside a lot. There'll be a lot more screen passes. And what it does is it eliminates the fact of the pressures and the sacks, because Jimmy Garoppolo is getting rid of the ball as fast as he possibly can. People are going to be sliding to the right or sliding to the left, which is going to open up the middle of the field. for these crossing routes and tight ends and these receivers, and it's just going to make the play action. Kyle Shanahan builds his whole system off play action. There's no defending the play action with three-headed monster like you have right there, especially if you throw one of those backs in the outside where it's just a matchup nightmare. So let me just get to a question real quick here because if we draft – so I got to find who said it again because the chat moved on me. Oh, 49er fan says, if we draft Nick Bosa, where does Eric Armstead play? Who wants to take that first?
That's a good question.
It's a very good question. Now, if we go to this wide nine, and I'll go first, but if we go to this wide nine, we were just talking about this in our room tonight. If we draft Bosa, because Eric Crocker believes that we're not going to draft Bosa now, we're going to take a Josh Allen because he just fits that role better. Now that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, quote unquote, have said that D Ford is going to be the Leo. So that leaves the big end now. Bosa's not really going to be a big end because he's not going to go into coverage. He's not going to go into that. Whereas you could draft Josh Allen and put him as a Sam. But we're talking about Bosa now. But in the wide nine, Bosa, if you're playing out wide, so you have 2 9s, a 1 tech, and a 3 tech, I would have Ford, Bosa Ford and DeForest Buckner as the 3 tech. Ford on the outside is the Leo or the wide 9. Inside, I would rotate between Eric Armstead, DJ Jones, and Solomon Thomas, and then Bosa as your other wide 9. And
that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's how my front four would be with Bosa. And Armstead, Solomon Thomas, and DJ Jones would be the 1 techs and be in the middle. That's how I would do it. Anthony, what do you think, Ant?
What's up, Tony?
Hey.
What's up?
I gotta agree with that. I mean, Armstead has kind of proven that he's very good on rundowns and run situations. He's not so much a pass rusher on this D-line. So I don't think kicking him inside would be a bad idea. But at the same time, we've seen that this D-line can get extremely clogged. And the talent we have now, with the additions of Ford and Bosa, on top of Buckner, and if Thomas or Armstead are playing, that's going to be 4 first-round picks on D-line. I swear, if we don't get any sacks or at the least pressure, I'm going to go crazy. But with that being said, it's got to be asked that although they picked up Armstead's option, how safe is his spot on this team? Yeah. If Armstead is just as capable as Solomon Thomas or DJ Jones or whoever may be at the spot, you have to wonder how expendable is he really? And I like Eric Armstead a lot. I think he fits the team nice. He's a great locker room guy from what we hear. But at the end of the day, you have to say that a business is a business, and that's what this might come down to. Would they keep Armstead over someone like DJ Jones or Julian Taylor or whoever it may be? Yes, I would say so. But I wouldn't rule out if he has any trade value to a team. But with that being said, like Nick said, Ford at the wide 9, Buckner at 3 tech, Armstead, Solomon Thomas, DJ Jones at 1 tech, and then Bosa at the other end. That's my ideal. But like Croc said, and I think we all love Eric Crocker, Josh Allen seems to fit this scheme that we're running in place a lot better. Would I take Josh Allen at 2? If they have the confidence that they can get him in a trade back that would be to like 4, 5, or 6, go for it. But with Bosa's talent and his pure ability to rush the passer, I don't know if that's a chance worth taking.
Yeah. What do you think, Chuck?
Yeah, man, I totally agree with that. But, when you have Eric Armstead, Solomon Thomas, DJ Jones, it might come down to, like, what we were talking about Raheem Mostert earlier with roster spots and stuff, It'll just come down to that and who gives us more value at the end. But, I like the fact that Chris Kasurek is over there. and he's really going to evaluate everybody. So, I'm kind of happy about that. I think he's really going to let Cal Shanahan and John Lynch know exactly what's going on with them, who to keep and who not to keep. So, if it comes down to somebody leaving, it'll be because he evaluated them. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Anthony, I'm the same as you. I'm not sure if I'd take Josh Allen at number 2. One of the questions was, so David Lopez says, what's the defense going to do with McKinnon and Coleman on the field? Now what they're going to do with 1 or 2 split out wide. The possibilities are endless of what you can do with those 2 guys. Rogish D says, I say we trade back. What do you guys think?
No, I don't want to trade back at all. No.
But Duck doesn't want to trade back. Tony, can you hear us? I know you're on mute, so.
Yeah, I hear you.
What's going on, man? You just getting off work, huh?
Yeah, what's up, fellas?
So, Tony, we were talking. So, just a real quick thing. What would you rate the D Ford? Just to catch you up real quick. What would you rate the D Ford signing, trade, from an A to an F?
I would grade it an A because this is what his style is what we need for this defense to going forward to be successful. He is, like I said the other day, he's probably the top true speed rusher right now in the league. Like just pinning your ears back and flying off the edge. He has multiple moves, 3 moves. I think he goes back and forth between. I mean, listen, besides that stupid offsides call that he had in the championship game, the guy's got a good head on his shoulders. You see him in a couple plays where I saw one highlight clip where Seattle tried to come out and like crack block him, and he saw it. He saw the motion, the wide receiver motion in to take a block on him. So instead of him just pinning his ears back and going, he, stood there, took the block on, and made the tackle as a wide 9. I think Brian Baldinger put it up on one of his clips on Twitter. But
yeah,
I mean, listen,
against Seattle, they were going to try to crack back on me. He saw it, he rolled out with it, and then cut across, and then still made the tackle for a 3-yard loss.
Exactly. So that's showing you he has high football IQ.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a smart kid.
So I mean, this is what we needed, and we have an opportunity to really solidify our pass rush, adding a player like Bosa, or if Arizona takes Bosa, we have an opportunity to take Allen or trade down and get multiple picks. If Bosa's there at 2, I'm kind of thinking that Bosa is the pick. But unless we get blown away, Bosa's the guy.
Yeah, I agree that I think if he's there, Bosa has to be the guy. You can't pass that up because he's just more of a well-rounded guy. I don't know, Tony. I know you've been out on the road and working. So did you see that we signed Jordan Matthews?
Yes, I did.
So yeah, I know you talked about Jordan Matthews before on the show one time because of his connection with Miles Austin.
Correct.
And he had said that, Miles really pretty much did all the footwork for this. And I'm just happy to be here. He's Jerry Rice's cousin. He grew up a Niner fan.
Perfect.
So it's even better that he's in San Francisco. So and let me just get a grade real quick on the Jason Verrett signing.
Man, I love that signing. If this kid could stay healthy, you found yourself a starting corner. Hands down. This kid plays like he's a 6'2 corner, 6'2", 200-pound corner when he's only 5'10", 5'11", if that, $190. He's physical. He does not take shit. He will come up and pop you in the run game. He knows the cover 3 from playing with San Diego. I just like what he brings, and I'm really when I found out we were interested in him, I was really pulling for this kid because I think this kid needs one opportunity. One more opportunity. He could stay healthy. In my opinion, I think he could be the steal of free agency. A 1-year deal for $3.6, I think it was.
Yep, $3.6 million.
And I mean, listen, bro. If you really look at it, I mean, I understand everyone feels Jimmy Ward is this, Jimmy Ward is that, but we added a potential starter if healthy in Jason Verrett. You have Jimmy Ward coming back to compete with Goldson at the free safety spot if we don't add anybody within the next couple of days, in free agency or the draft. I just like it. I just like the addition overall.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like pretty much everything we've done so far. I mean, I know that it's scary because of Jason Verrett with the injury, Quan Alexander with the injury. But last year, everybody was complaining that, oh, why we draft an ACL guy? And I was saying this to Mike earlier, but so many fans are excited to see what Contavious Street even does. This line, they said on NFL Network, even though we had barely any turnovers or anything like that, we were still a 13th ranked defense in this league last year. If we start to capitalize more with the pressures and the sacks and the turnovers, that's going to boost us automatically to the top 10. And being healthy. Mike, what's going on, baby? He had joined the chat. He can't join right now. It's a little too dark, so he said it depends on what time he gets done. But somebody said if Boza's sitting there at 2, don't even pick up the phone. Just take him. There's no reason to pass him over. Silverado Kev is in here. Another NB9ERS guy. He says that's why you groom Allen to play with his hand in the ground in the process. We still have a few guys that can play Sam and in Njoku and even Pita T. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Rogus said, name one time the fans and knew what John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan were going to do. We've been wrong every time. We all wanted Earl Thomas. We all wanted OBJ. We all wanted AB. He comes out of the silk screenings, and you get Tevin Coleman. Where'd that come from? Jordan Matthews. Where'd that come from? Jason Verrett. Where'd that come from? D Ford with a trade instead of Justin Houston, who's sitting on the free agency market. Where did that come from? And without giving up capital this year, he's definitely right. Everything that they have done, we didn't even think they would do. Well, Tony might have called the Jordan. He did say look out for Jordan Matthews. And
Coleman.
And Coleman.
Yeah. You got to look at something, and it's really, really important. This organization is working as a unit. They're working as a team. They're taking everyone's input and they're making decisions together as one group. Like Miles Austin, he was an assistant with Philly. He became a scout in Dallas, and this guy's a quality control coach. Kyle Shanahan could be like, yeah, all right, whatever, dude. No, he listened to him. He knows him. He trusted him. He brought him on his staff. He's going to take his input and go forward. We didn't commit big bucks or a long-term deal to this guy. Okay? So he has an opportunity to step up and earn a spot on his roster. He's what we need, a bigger physical receiver. Is he perfect? No. Does he have some injury concerns? Yes. But it's getting back to Verrett. If this guy's physical didn't come up good, this team never would have signed him.
All right, since we're talking about Matthews, West Coast 57257 says, does Jordan Matthews make the roster?
Hard to tell right now.
What do you think, Tony? We'll go Tony first.
As of right now, not going into the draft, I would say yes, because it's either him or Kendrick Bourne that's playing the Z. That's all we have. Everybody else is an X or a slot.
Well, Jordan Matthews plays the slot too.
He does, but he's going to be the Z in this offense.
Okay, so his follow-up to that was who gets cut. So as of right now, with no draft or anything, you have him making the team. Do you have him making the team? And if so, who are you cutting?
Well, let's see. Who's under contract? You have Goodwin, you have Bourne, you have Pettis. So that's 3 right there. You have Richie James, Trent Taylor. That's 5. Who are the other receivers? All the other guys are the like the Dunbar, the Jordan Smallwood. So yeah, he would be the 6th receiver as of right now. And we did keep 6 last year, and we didn't cut nobody.
Did you say Goodwin too?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't hear you. Sorry. So he would be the 6th receiver right now, not having to cut anybody.
Correct.
All right. Chuck, what do you think, bud?
Yeah, it's just to me, it's hard to tell. I would think that he would make this team. I'm excited about him being over here, being 6'3" as well. You know, so I would think he would make this team. But it's right now, like I said in the beginning, we haven't even got past the draft yet. You know, so but as of right now, yeah, I would keep him on the team.
All right, Anthony, what do you think?
I think before and after draft, I think he makes the team. My ideal lineup is Pettis, Goodwin,
Carly,
Matthews on the field.
line in
That's
mode.
what I want on the field. Pettis, Goodwin, Matthews. Yeah. It's a lot to digest. It's a lot to digest because it's another big body who I've been calling for. A lot of Niners fans have been calling for a long time is to get some type of bigger receiver. Jordan Matthews is 6'3", 215, almost 220. I like it. I believe I saw something that said 18 of 22 of his career touchdowns are in the red zone. So if Matthews can have that effect on our offense, especially in the red zone where we struggled the most, I absolutely think he makes a team. Now that Trent Taylor is coming back healthy, however, and this is why I say he makes a team, because I don't think it's so much that Matthews' spot would be under question. I think it's more about the dogfight that's going to take place between Trent Taylor and Richie James. Because they're both small slot guys that have similar skill sets, and quite frankly, I don't think it's the best to keep both guys like that on the roster. Now, I think Richie James would still be practice squad eligible, if I'm correct. With that being said, though, I would much rather Matthews and then let the fighting go down between Richie James and Trent Taylor. That's how I honestly see it going down. I know Shanahan likes his smaller, quicker gadget-type wide receivers, but Matthews is the absolute guy we need on this offense. I think Matthews is, if it works out, Matthews would be more vital than someone like Richie James or Trent Taylor. And I know Taylor was Garoppolo's third down guy, and that's why I quite frankly think that Taylor would make it over Richie James. But the main battle would, I believe, come down between James and Trent Taylor. And Matthews makes the team before and after the draft.
All right. Yeah. I mean, they're all valid points. Mike said McCaffrey's the odd man out. That's still on the roster. Taylor is safe by that math. Because McCaffrey's still on this roster. But I think he'll be a practice squad guy. So let's see. Somebody was trying to call. I couldn't hear you guys. Whoever was calling.
That's what that was.
Mike says Chuck kind of quiet over there. He all right tonight?
Oh no, it's pretty late for me. You know,
Well,
but I'm all right.
You good? All right.
Yeah, I'm actually probably about another 10 minutes. I'll probably be
No problem. No problem. Let's see here.
Hey, didn't we released Brock Coyle today, didn't we?
Yeah, Brock Coyle was released today due to his injury, and he's actually retiring from football. So that injury that he sustained last year is actually keeping him off the field. He said he'll never touch a football field ever again. So my blessings and such out to him. You know, hopefully he can get right after that injury. I really liked Brock Coyle. I thought he was a decent fill-in guy, depth guy, and he seemed like he gave it his all when he was out there. So best wishes to him and his family and his endeavors, whatever it is after football. Ray Wright says, so are we still drafting a big body receiver?
No, I mean, I don't know. The only one I would see as far as big body is DK, but he's he's within number 10, so I don't see that.
I'll jump on that real quick too. I think I've been one of the only ones that really want to advocate for JJ Arcega-Whiteside out of Stanford. The guy set wide receiving records in all of Stanford history, and John Lynch has that Stanford Pac-12 love for some of these guys, and the JJ Arcega draft pick would be really nice in the mid-round, But sadly, I have to question it now because of the addition of Jordan Matthews.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, and this is the question I guess we're getting to now is, does the Jordan Matthews signing have any impact on how we draft a wide receiver in this class? Because Jordan Matthews fits the bill and fits the size of what we've been asking for a long time. But at the same
No.
time, he's a veteran guy who's going to be on his fourth team now. And I get the relationship with Jerry Rice and him being a Niners fan, but at the same time, Shanahan and Lynch seem to really covet youth. And it makes me wonder, although Matthews is still relatively young, how much does that have an impact coming into this draft, especially with the wide receiver talent that's in this class? There may not be any surefire first-round picks outside of DK, but by God, in the second round, there are so many unbelievable wide receivers that are going to go, and one of them might fall to us. So that's the big question: is how is this going to be addressed?
I still think they had a receiver in the draft. Definitely.
Do you think you still go with the second pick?
See, now it all depends if we address the free safety position in free agency. If we add somebody like a Trey Boston, or I think Clinton Dix got signed today by the Bears, so he's off the board. It all depends on what we do in free agency for the rest of the time until the draft. Because if I think they will try to address it with that second pick now, but on the other hand, if a first-round talent wide receiver falls and that low first-round, high second-round talent at free safety is not there, I could see them go to wide receiver route. Okay. So it all depends on how the board falls, really, and if we add a body. To be honest with you guys, I don't think we're done with free agency yet. I still see them pick up small pieces here and there, one-year deals, nothing crazy, no high-price guys.
Calling.
What the hell is that?
Well, somebody's calling,
right?
Oh, keep going, Tony.
So yeah, I think we're going to still add a couple pieces here and there. I'd just like to make a comment about the linebacker we signed, Mayo. That guy has potential to be a special teams beast, like his teammate Colin Jones. Trent Baalke traded away. And he will add depth to the linebacking core. I don't think he'll see the field as a linebacker, but I think he has potential to be like a Blake Costanzo type special teams player.
What about Chuck? What do you think of the wide receiver class? If something falls to us, how do you see it playing out?
I don't know, man. When it's just who we have now, I know that we're gonna get yards regardless, just based on how Shanahan runs his offense. So it's just with me, it's just more of a focus for defense. And if we don't do anything on offense in the draft, then I would be fine with that. But like you said, you made a good point about getting Matthews now. It's sort of like, a question there, what we're actually going to do. So not getting a wide receiver, I'll be fine with that because we technically don't really need one. Because we gonna get that ball down the field regardless, So
I think Kyle and John had a plan in place. And obviously you guys see it now. But going into this, I think they wanted to go hard on the defense, obviously. They addressed their Leo spot. They addressed their weak side linebacker spot. They addressed it by adding playmakers, guys that cause turnovers. That's what this defense has been lacking a long time. They also added pieces where at the receiver spot, at the corner spot, at a linebacker for special teams now that Brock Coyle retired, which, by the way, I hope everything is fine with him and it's nothing serious. But they were smart. They picked things that they knew that they had to address. The significant level obviously isn't high priority, but now going into the draft, it gives them the ability to take the best player available. Like potentially, if they hit on this draft, our defense could be lights out. It potentially could be lights out. You add a Bosa. If an Adderley falls to like the bottom of round 1, you trade up and get him, and that's your piece at free safety to compete with Jimmy Ward, or the free safety from Alabama, even throw his name in the mix. Later in the draft, you can add another pass rusher. We just have so many ways to go because of their aggressive approach and their game plan in free agency. It allowed them now to maneuver easier and not have to say, shit, we need a wide receiver. I got to take one at 36. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you this, Tony, because David Royce said, do we draft a cornerback in the draft? And if so, where at?
Yes, I could see them addressing the quarterback to add more competition. I could. Because honestly, Sherman, drawing a blank. Witherspoon, Travarius Moore, and Barrett. Those are your 4 corners as of right now. Jimmy Ward was signed to be a free safety. He's not going to play corner anymore. Kawhi Williams is a nickel corner. So now that's 5. I still would draft a corner to add to the competition. Now, the question is, what round they're going to take it in is kind of like how the draft board's going to fall. If there's value, where the value is to make that selection for corner. It could be pick 2. It could be pick 3, pick 4, pick 6. It all depends on how this draft falls and what the value is at each pick. So I can't sit here and say, oh, I think he's going to be picked at 2. No, it all depends on the value. Because we're at the position right now where we don't have to reach.
You guys all agree with that? Anthony?
Yeah.
Chuck?
Yeah, I do. I think if we draft a corner, I think it's more so that they're unsure about how Jason Barrett is going to work out, because if Barrett doesn't work out, then we're going to need someone else to fill his spot, really. Not so much a starting corner, but obviously someone's going to get bumped up and another hole is going to be needed filled. So, like Tony said, we're not at a position to really reach for any guys in the second round. So there's lots of ways they can go and be whether we decide to take a corner in the second round, a wide receiver in the second round. We could even address tight end in the second round. I think tight end is a spot that's being really slept on this team.
Yeah.
Outside of George Kittle, the tight end talent is relatively thin, and I like Selleck, but that's about it. I don't know how I feel about Ross Dwelly. So tight end could be a spot that we go in second round. Overall, there's a lot of ways we can go come the second round, because there's no way we don't take an edge in the first round. I'm sorry. It needs to be addressed. Edge should be the priority in the first. But afterwards, there's a million directions we can go in. And it could start with corner. It could very well start with corner. The only thing, though, is that the corner class is thin. The corner class we've been hearing is relatively thin.
Chuck, I'll let you answer this real quick, and then I'll let you get out of there. I know it's getting late for you. You get up early in the morning, so I just want to say thanks for joining us. If you guys don't already,
Thanks you guys. Tony, Anthony, Nick, Mike.
Hell yeah,
Hey,
Chuck.
Chuck, I love your videos.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it, man.
No
I
doubt,
love the
no
Niners.
doubt.
Niners
man.
all day.
Chuck, just let everybody know where they can find you one more time again on YouTube and Twitter for the new guys that are in the chat, so that they can hit you up and subscribe to your channel as well.
You guys can find me YouTube, Twitter. Just type in C. McCarver Jr. That's CMCCARVERJR.
That's a whole lot of R's. Anna, can I have an R, please?
I know, huh?
All right, Chuck.
Will and Fortune.
Yeah, Will.
All right, buddy.
Chuck, I appreciate
later,
I appreciate you joining, man. I'll talk to you. Hit me up tomorrow.
No
Much
problem.
love, Chuck.
All right, man.
Have a good night, Chuck.
You too, man.
All right, guys. So, while he's getting out of there, appreciate him joining tonight, guys. Like he said, go follow his channel, CMCCARVERJR, C. McCarver Jr. on Twitter and YouTube. He always hits you from the streets, basically in traffic, coming from games. He's a season ticket holder, goes to all the games. Great insight. You can see him on his YouTube channel and Twitter. So make sure you guys hit him up. All right, so Tony, I got a question for you. I got a question for you, and is there any scenario? So Roro Wright says, is there any scenario that we trade up for Boza?
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Nick?
Roro Wright says, is there any possibility or any scenario where we would trade up for Boza?
I don't think so because I honestly don't think that the Cardinals are going to take him. I think Kyle Murray is the pick at the number 1 spot. I really do. And there's all this stuff that they didn't send their contingent to watch his pro day. That don't mean nothing because you could turn on the NFL Network and watch the whole damn thing on TV.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to trade up. But if they're going to start sensing, like, they might change their mind or they trade out and someone leapfrogs us to get Bosa, then there's a problem. But you're not going to find that out until draft day when they're officially on the clock.
Right. All right.
So
So go ahead. Finish up.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
It's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to say. With this front office, I wouldn't count anything out though. If they really feel that the person they want is going to be taken, you never know. It's not going to take, a crate. I mean, it would still take a buttload, but I wouldn't count it out. Terry Odell, this is a question for you, Anthony. Do you think it's a possibility that Tavarius Moore could move to free safety and just draft a cornerback?
Yeah, absolutely. I know I said it earlier, but God, I wish we didn't move Tavarius Moore to corner. I like guys who are versatile. I don't like guys who have already kind of shown that they're not good at the spot they're being moved to. Hence, Jimmy Ward. And Jimmy Ward was okay at corner, but he wasn't anything spectacular. And with that being said, if corner is addressed in the 2nd or 3rd round, I think we could very well be seeing Moore move back to free safety and see Moore versus Ward for the starting free safety spot. Because I know they like Ward, but keep in mind that he was only signed on a 1-year, $5 million deal. It was $5 million, right?
Yeah.
And you generally see that the 1-year deals are things that teams can get out of really easy. And we also saw that the Niners brought back Antone Exum. So I don't want to say that Exum will make the team, but I will say at the least that them bringing back Exum shows that they might be willing to stick with Ward at free safety and just hope Moore sticks at cornerback. But all in all, I think Exum, because Exum last season was exactly what you expected from a backup safety. He was a backup safety. And more often than not, I felt like he underperformed more so than even met expectations. And you'll hear the coaching staff say that, oh, Exum did a good job, he did a good job, blah, blah, blah. A lot of the time stuff like that is so fluff. It's a lot of fluff. So with that being said, I am so open to moving Moore back to free safety. And moving Moore to free safety, again, it's like if we lost Barrett, it would be opening up a cornerback spot to sign or to draft. And moving Moore would absolutely mean, I believe, that we go after corner. It's tough to assess, though, because the corner talent is relatively thin. I like Greedy Williams. I like Byron Murphy, but you can expect him to go at the bottom of the first.
It's tough to assess, though, because
also, you could see a guy like Rocky Sin, one of the cooler named guys, go in the 2nd round to us, too. And don't fall in love with the guy because he has a cool name. Please watch the tape. Because Rocky Sin initially started as a 3rd to 4th round guy. Then he comes up, I think he was in the Senior Bowl, made a couple nice plays, and then his stock rises all the way to the 2nd. So that's the type of stuff you want to look out for. And I'm saying that because, like I said, the corner class is relatively thin. It is. So the only way I see us taking a corner that's worth anything is if we trade back into the first for a guy like Byron Murphy or Greedy Williams. I don't like the idea of Rock Ya-Sin in the second pick. I would much rather address wide receiver or tight end. Even though we already got Jordan Matthews, I'd still like to see him draft another wide receiver. And then let more like a developmental corner be drafted in a third or fourth round. If that
Yeah.
happens. So yeah, I want more at free safety more than anything. I would love to see more at free safety more so than Ward. Because Bleacher Report's Matt Miller in his draft 400 had said that Tavarius Moore was probably the best free safety prospect coming out of that class. He had a fantastic 40 time. He had a fantastic career in college. And I was really hoping that would translate into the NFL when we took him, but we decided to move him to corner. So Moore's potential at free safety, I believe, is still there. It's not over just because of a rookie year at corner. He deserves to be moved back to free safety. And if that happens, I say yes. I think they do address corner. Just not in the second round. Not in the second round.
Yeah. There was another question here. Oh, so Luke Wall says, all right, so Tony, does the Ford signing increase the chances of Lynch taking Quinnen Williams?
No, I don't think so. I think their objective was to solidify this pass rush, their edge play. And this is a golden opportunity for them to do it. And I'm going to say another thing on this show, and I don't care what anybody says, they're going to dump somebody on the interior of that line in a trade leading up to draft day, on draft day, or after draft day. Someone has to go. Someone's going to be dealt. I just don't know who it is. Obviously, it's not Buckner. But you have a log jam in the middle of that defense. And I just can't see it. With the wide nine, none of those guys that play defensive tackle or considered the big end, none of them project to the wide nine scheme. They're not edge guys. They're not speed guys off the edge. They're big physical players that belong on the interior. Now, if they go base 4-3 over, then you get the big end where Armstead goes out wide or whatever, whoever they decide to do. But I'm having trouble understanding how people. Listen, I'm not saying Quentin Williams is a bum at all. He's a talented player. I just can't see how they could waste another pick on an interior guy. I can't. I just can't see it.
So Griffin Cold Iron says they're listening forward to defensive end. Crockett and others think it signals Allen is the pick. We've kind of already touched on that. Jerry says, should we draft tight end and trade Selleck, run 2 stellar tight ends? Who wants to take that, Anthony?
Listen, 2 tight end. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, Tony. I think that Selleck is more safe than Ross Dwelly because Dwelly really only, I think, had 1 or 2 catches on the season, and he was nothing more. He was nothing more than just a third string tight end. And Kittle had those nagging injuries where they come and go. I think he had a small ankle injury. He might have had a small hip injury. That's whatever. His spot's fine. Selleck was capable as the second stringer, but I have to go back and watch some of the games because I'm not sure how Selleck's run and pass blocking were. But going back to the main point, I personally would be very open to adding another athletic stellar tight end. My hot take for the draft is if it falls in this order, I wouldn't be surprised if we take another one of the Iowa tight ends. Noah Font and TJ Hawkinson are absolute studs out of Iowa, both of them. And it amazes me that Iowa has 2 possible first-round tight ends. Would we trade up for a tight end? No, I don't think we should. But if I had to pick what we should do in the second round, with the talent that it is, I wouldn't mind going after a tight end like Font or Hawkinson. Because I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head, but there's a handful of the teams in the NFL that really rock two high-end tight ends. We saw them in Baltimore when they drafted Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews, and they balled out well. I know the Patriots are weird, but they made use of Rob Gronkowski and Dwayne Allen, both really good tight ends. So, and even the Rams, when they had Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett, both of those guys can ball out. So I think there's this like low-key trend that teams are trending towards more athletic, physical tight ends that could do it all. And I see the Niners as the possible take on Font or Hawkinson. Now, I think Hawkinson is the better prospect out of Fant, but if Fant falls to us in the second round, I would absolutely go after him. Especially with the Jordan Matthews signing, more so tight end than wide receiver.
Right. Okay. All right. So Tim says this is another question about trading down, Tony. So if the Niners can trade down as he wants, how far down can they go and still get Allen?
No lower than 4 or 5.
So you think he goes to the Jets or Oakland?
Absolutely. The Jets, remember, Anthony Barr walked back, changed his mind on the Jets. So now they have an opening at outside linebacker. And those two players are the same type of player, but Allen's a better pass rusher than Barr. And Oakland, I could see Oakland trading up possibly for Bosa. I could even see Oakland trading up for Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to talk about was you have really hot takes in not hot takes, but a hot chance of the Oakland Raiders and
Giants?
the Giants trading up to take Kyler Murray. If Arizona doesn't take him, we'll find out if Rosen goes. If anything happens with that, Rosen will probably be traded with the pick. Like, I don't know. Rosen will be traded right before draft day or draft night.
Well, I actually want to jump on that real quick. Tony, did you see the Jets brought in Greg Williams, right, as their D coordinator?
Yes.
Does he run? He runs a 4-3, right?
He's running a multi-front. He's going to run a hybrid defense. He's going to give you 3-4 looks, 4-3 looks.
So with that being said, do you think Josh Allen still holds value for the Jets?
Yes, because in his front, when he was with Cleveland, his edge guys stood up, and his style, he would either come pin his ears back and send the whole front seven after you, or he would pin his ears back, send one side of the formation, drop the other side. He's one of those coordinators like that. It's very hard to catch on him and figure out his game plan because it's like a different attack every week. Like I remember when they had when we played the Saints and he was a defensive coordinator, when he had that whole bounty out on Alex Smith's head. This guy is out for blood, so he's going to do whatever he can to get to the quarterback, and that's why he always switches his fronts. So Josh Allen could be a Sam. Josh Allen could put his hand in the ground. Josh Allen could drop back in coverage. That's why I kind of like him for what the Jets are going to do.
All right, so that answers that. So Jay Sparrow says, what do you guys think about Hakeem Butler? Have you watched any film on him, and what do you guys think?
You want me to answer it?
Sure. You're on
Hakeem Butler is a 6'5" or 6'6" wide receiver, 225. Big physical guy. He's another one. Has trouble running routes. He's not a consistent route runner. He's not a good route runner. I don't know his 3-cone. I don't know his 10-yard split. His 40 was pretty decent, 4.49, I want to say. So his straightaway speed is there, but he needs to learn how to run a route tree. He really needs to.
Yeah. Do you think Butler will be there in the second or third round?
Yes.
All right. Coco Smooth says basically a shout out to Parag because his contracts be like Luke Chest at Snoopy Shores 05. Luke Wall says trade 2 for Raiders 4 plus 24. Take one of Quinnen Williams, Allen, or Bosa if a quarterback goes number 1.
So trade 2 from 2 to 4?
Trade 2 for 4 and 24. Take one of Quinnen Williams or Allen or Boza if a quarterback goes number 1.
Yes, but you got to hope someone doesn't get in front of you at 3. To get the person that you want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Daniel says, do you think Lynch will surprise us with a big name safety? I'm thinking they're talking about like a Eric Berry or, Trey Boston. What are your guys' thoughts on that, Anthony?
God, this team's stubbornness with Jimmy Ward is unbelievable. So I think in terms of the secondary outside of Verrett, more specifically the safeties, I think Ward might be the only safety signing that we do. And the fan base doesn't like it. I personally don't really like it. But we've seen what Ward can do at free safety when he's healthy, and he's not a bad free safety. He's not. A lot of people get caught up in the mix that Ward is a bad player, but a lot of that bad play came from him at the cornerback position, not the safety position. So a move for Ward back to safety, I think will be best for him. And with all the money that's being addressed in free agency for what we've done already, I think Eric Berry's asking price will be relatively high, even if he's coming off the injury. Trey Boston's asking price might not be as high, and I would like Trey Boston, but I don't know how willing they would be to go after someone like him, especially with the re-signing of Ward. And I think that's the point to get at, is because I think they want to give Ward like this one last chance. Like, okay, we know he's hurt, we know he's constantly injured, but we've seen this film of him at safety, we know he can do it. So I think that's their stubbornness saying that, okay, we like Ward, we think he can do it. And I think in terms of the safety spot, that's about as aggressive as they'll be. And that's also, like I said earlier to the fan that asked about Tavarius Moore, is that with the question mark surrounding Ward, especially with it being on a 1-year deal, that opens up more to be able to move back to free safety and hopefully get to take on Ward at free safety. Because I'm thinking that if Moore moves back to free safety and him and Ward fight for that first spot, I honestly think that Ward is more expendable than Antonio Exum, because I don't think they want to keep Ward as a backup safety for $5 million, especially when they already have Exum on the cheap.
And that's why I keep saying that this roster has areas where they could use a player in a package, whether to move up or get a pick in 2020. And some of the guys, I'll give you some names off the top of my head. I think Marquise Goodwin could be one. I think, depending on how Marcel Harris plays in going forward this year, maybe next year, Tart could be one who could be possibly traded or let go. The stockpile in the middle of the defense, the defensive tackles, our linebackers are our linebackers. That's straight. Shit. What was the other position? I totally left my head. But this team's going to have to make some tough decisions to get down to 53. And I'm just going to say that.
Tony, you think any of the D linemen outside of Buckner and Ford are tradable too?
Absolutely. You get me a deal for Armstead, I'll do it right now.
What about Solomon?
Do it right now. As much as I think Solomon could flourish in this scheme, but if it gives me a good return, I think Buckner would be not Buckner. Armstead would be easier to get rid of right now because he could come in and renegotiate his contract, lower his cap number. I'm not saying Armstead is not good, but we have too many of the same style players. That's an issue. So you're going to see let's say they keep 4 DTs, 5 DTs. Let's say they keep Buckner, they keep DJ Jones, they keep Armstead, they keep Sheldon Day. There's probably 6 defensive tackles?
I forgot about Day.
Yeah,
You have Sheldon
Day,
Day, Taylor, Street. You have
Jones.
DJ Jones is going to make this roster. He's going to be the big defensive tackle, the zero tech or the nose tackle, whatever you want to label him as. Yeah, I just think this team's going to have a lot of decisions to make. I really do. And I know you guys are talking about possibly adding a tight end to try to do like a 2 tight end set attack. I honestly think, I agree with adding a tight end, but that high, I don't know if they're going to do it because with the amount of weapons just in the backfield, and like Anthony, I don't know if you listened to the podcast or the show the other day that we did when we added Tavon Coleman. They could come out in 21 personnel, which is 2 backs and 1 tight end. So you have your X to your right, which your tight end, and then your Z to the right, which your tight end, and then your X is on the left-hand side with an I formation in the backfield. Jimmy Garoppolo comes up to the line of scrimmage. He can audible out, and now you can go 5 wide, and you have full advantage on that defense because you have speed and all pass catchers coming out of the backfield. So I think the 2 tight end sets might be not as much because now we have more weapons in other spots.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on this because we've talked about safeties and we talked about DBs, but not a single one of us have mentioned Adrian Colbert's name. Not a single one of us. So why is that? Why are we just all pretty much counting Adrian Colbert out of this lineup? We're all putting Ward back there. We're all wanting to draft or trade for a safety or pick a safety up in free agency or draft a safety or move more to safety. Why are we doing that with Adrian Colbert here, who, yes, he had a sophomore slump, but his first year playing and changing to the position, because remember, he was a corner, he wasn't a safety, changing into a position, played pretty damn well his first year, had a hindering injury his second year and literally went off the charts. And everybody was so big on the Punisher. Now it's like, dude, you're like, I don't know what you are anymore. So what is everybody's thoughts? Why is everybody like this on Adrian Colbert? Like, the kid can really ball. I think his head is a little loose and he needs to get into the books and the terminology and route concepts and stuff like that a little more. But do we think that he didn't do that in the offseason or the whole time he was hurt? So why is everybody counting Adrian Colbert out of playing safety?
I think I'll get on this. I think it's because that with bringing back Jimmy Ward, I think that Ward is the safer start at free safety. And what I mean by that is Adrian Colbert had a fantastic rookie year. Let's get that straight. He had probably one of the worst sophomore years I think a safety could ever have. And then he gets injured. And I get that a lot of guys go through a sophomore slump, but I think that Colbert's sophomore slump was bad enough to where the team can says how reliable or how good can he really be. And you look at it like, was the first year an aberration or was the first year a real thing? And I get that Colbert has a lot of potential, but again, Ward is kind of the more safer, proven safety who can perform at an average starting level versus Colbert, who you don't know what you're going to get out of it just yet. And depending on how the roster and draft falls out, whether we address safety or not, I think we might go into it where Tart is the starting strong safety, and I think Ward is the starting free safety if Ward works out and he makes a roster. And I think Colbert would be the second string. I just think that Colbert's boomer bust potential is something that the defensive staff is looking at, and they're taking it with caution. Especially him coming off an injury the way it is, and considering that his second year was just awful. I mean, you guys couldn't have told me that Colbert was going to have as bad of a sophomore year as he did. And I don't know if that was just him being overconfident, him being cocky, or if it was just that he was a rookie, teams didn't really know what to see of him. So they come into the second year, they watch the film, they watch his tendencies, and they attack that. And a lot of the reason is why Colbert went in the 7th round is probably for something like that. So you got to keep in mind, too, that Colbert's talent is great, but we've seen how teams give so much opportunity to first-round picks versus seventh-round picks. And I know the Niners are different because we've hit on the late-round picks. But it seems like that concept of the first-round pick or the earlier-round pick guys take priority over the late guys always seems to come into effect, if that makes sense. So it's just that, man, the thing about it is that I don't know if I want the Niners to draft a safety to begin with, because the safety room is somewhat logjam too. But at the same time, we've seen how this team needs a playmaking safety so bad, which is why everyone wanted Earl Thomas. So Colbert's spot, I would say, is
I think everybody wanted Thomas though because of the fit. I don't think it was because of the player. It was just that he knows the system. He was the best safety in this system, and I think that's why all 49ers fans automatically wanted. If Earl Thomas wasn't a free agent, not one person would have been saying trade to go after and get Thomas or do this for Thomas. I just think Colbert. Look, I was really hard on Colbert too because I think that he kind of went to that sophomore slump. One, because of nagging injury that he had. Two, because it was with his legs, so running, covering from sideline to sideline. But for the most part, I felt like he was taking wrong angles and such like that. So to me, that's route recognition and route concepts and stuff like that. I think that he probably would hit the books this year, and I bet you he comes out and he's driving for that spot this year. You had said something funny to me. Well, not funny, but you had said something that kind of took me off of what I was saying, because you had said I would rather have Tart play, but earlier you said you would rather have Moore play. So is it Tart or Ward that you want back there starting?
Tart's strong safety, so we'll keep
I mean,
him
not
at that
Tart.
spot.
You said Ward or Moore.
Ward. So
Yeah.
okay, so right now, because of my fanboyism for Moore, I would take the chance of putting Moore at starting free safety. I'm not trying to be hot takey. I'm not trying to be like those guys. I really believe that Moore would just flourish in this scheme at free safety. And I know he doesn't have the experience of free safety, but I love the guy coming out of college. I love the guy at his spot. And I say give him the chance to just go out there and prove it. Ward had his chance. Ward's been average. Colbert had his chance. Colbert's been boomer bust. Why not move Moore to free safety and see what he's got? See if he can be more consistent and be at a better level than Ward would be, or even Colbert would be. But yeah, thank you. I'm glad you caught that. I'm glad you caught that, because that's now okay. Now you look at it and it's like with Colbert and with Ward coming back and Exum, is Moore just going to stay at corner? And I don't want him to stay at corner, but God, he's almost being forced to stay at corner. How do you feel about that? How do you feel?
Well, they already said that Ward will be going for a free safety. So Ward is pretty much going to be in the safety category. But you mentioned another name there now, other than you said Exum. Exum played pretty well there last year. West Coast was just talking about that in the room. It's so funny because he says Exum is good. Where did he say? He said Exum played pretty good. Exum should be the starter if nobody is added. Am I crazy? I don't think he's crazy for thinking that, because Exum played really well. We know everybody's screaming for a safety, right? And remember, the safety is going to be playing the over the top. So this secondary last year, we had a lot of mishaps, right? A lot of blown coverages, or the corners getting beat, or the safety not being able to get over a lot. But we also had young guys playing that position. But we also had one key factor that we didn't have last year that we're going to have this year, and that's a pass rush. So it's going to be a lot harder for a quarterback, unless they're dropping back in the shotgun and they're just slinging the ball. It's going to be harder with a pass rush for them to go deeper. They're not going to be holding on to the ball with 2.5 seconds, 2.6 seconds, with D Ford on that other line. And if we draft a Nick Bosa or a Josh Allen or a Quinnen Williams and a DeForest Buckner there. So I think that's going to help us in that safety position. I think that the three that are going into camp is going to be Colbert, Ward, and Exum. And they'll be competing for that over the top safety position. So I kind of agree with West Coast on that, as in Exum could play there, but I really think what happens is if Ward stays healthy, he's going to be the safety. Colbert will be the backup, and Exum will play the he played the box a little bit too last year, right? If I recall.
I was going to ask Tony that because I think Exum has played both safety positions last
He
season.
He did. He played both at both positions, so he could be a Ward replacement. Even DJ Reed played the box a little bit last year, right?
Sadly.
Yeah. So those three could be competition level, and Colbert, Ward, and Exum as a free safety. I don't think our safety position is that bad. I think we have youth. I think it's just that Ward couldn't stay healthy. Exum was new to the system, and Colbert had a lingering issue and some mental lapses and meltdowns. But Exum came in, and he wasn't as bad as people are making it seem. So I don't know. What's your thoughts, Tony?
All right, I'm gonna put the kibosh on this whole thing with you guys. Okay, you guys got to realize something. There's a new defensive back coach in town. Okay, he's gonna evaluate this secondary, all the players, and he's gonna come up with his own thing. You guys are talking off of when Halfley was here and the decisions that Halfley was making, and where Halfley wanted to put these guys. Of course, he was working with Saleh, with John Lynch as well. But in my opinion, I thought Travarius Moore played pretty damn well at corner when he was strictly a free safety in college. Listen, it's up to Joe Woods now. We got a brand new guy in town. He's going to make decisions. He's going to work with these guys. He's going to see who fits where the best. Another, like Nick brought up how no one brought up the name Colbert. Well, none of you guys brought up the name Marcel Harris, who was the starting strong safety the last 1, 2, 3, 4 games of the year, and which, by the way, our defense took a step up in their play. So I understand, listen, I think everyone's on a clean slate right now. I think Jimmy Ward will stay at the free safety spot. I think Colbert will remain at the free safety spot. I'm on the fence with Moore if they're going to switch him or keep him at corner. But it's a clean start. People are starting over. Now these guys got to earn the respect of Coach Woods, not Coach Halfley. And I think Woods is going to do wonders for these guys because of his experience in the league. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting to see this secondary and how he molds it. Because don't forget, he is the passing game coordinator working with Saleh.
No, I agree with you. West Coast and them were in the room talking about Marcel Harris, and I didn't even think about Harris until you brought it up, and then I just saw that they were all right. Yeah, I said Harris, and I looked back, they were talking about Harris in there. Let's see. We'll take one more question, guys, and then if you guys want to call in and just give a shout out with your excitement and tell us how excited you are about what the Niners have done so far in this free agency frenzy with the acquisitions of the players that we signed, we'll do that also. If not, then we'll take one more question and then we'll each answer it, and then we're going to get out of here. So let me look for a question real quick, and I'm going to check Twitter real quick. So, Tony, overall, I don't think you gave a grade on the you gave a grade on Quan, right? Quan Alexander?
I gave a grade on Ford.
All right, so I'm
going to give a grade on the overall free agency and what we did. We added Ford, Quan Alexander, Jason Verrett, Mayo, Tevin Coleman, Jordan Matthews, Jimmy Ward, Kyle Nelson, Anton Exum. I think that's a pretty damn successful offseason right there. Okay? Now, just going on talent, take the injuries and put them aside. On film talent, screw PFF. I'm saying what we seen on the film. I give this offseason an A. Not an A plus, not an A minus. I give it an A. Just performance. Now factor in the injury concerns and the ACL, the Achilles with Verrett. It brings it down to a B, a solid B. But unfortunately, the 49ers took a big risk on a running back called by the name of Marshawn Lattimore. No, what was his name? Is Marshawn Lattimore? I forgot his first name.
The one with the knee injury?
The kid from South Carolina.
Yeah, Lattimore.
And that kid, that situation, because of Trent Baalke, put a bad taste in 49er fans' mouths because of his injury. His injury was not just an ACL. That man shredded his knee and had nerve damage. Two different things. I understand, Faithful, you guys are upset. You hear that those three letters, A, C, and L, and it sets alarms off. I understand that. But with today's technology and medicine, you guys are all talking about drafting Nick Bosa. Guess what? Nick Bosa tore his ACL 3 years ago. He's doing pretty damn good right now.
Calling.
All right, I got a call real quick, so let me.
That a boy, Tony. That's a very, very good point. Today's medicine definitely just puts these guys in better positions to just succeed and be healthy and be successful. And I agree with that. If you overlook all the injuries, if you overlook all the PFF crap, like we've always said, guys, look at the film. Watch the film. Don't look at stats. Don't look at box score stats. Don't look at PFF. Watch the film. Watch the factors that go into it. You don't need to look at specific plays. Just watch a whole game or watch what the guys do out there because it'll tell you a lot. And it'll strongly explain why guys like Alexander and why guys like D Ford and even Jordan Matthews and even Tevin Coleman fit this team and fit this scheme so well. And it shows that, yeah, the injuries suck, but it's okay to trust John Lynch. It's okay to trust him. Not everyone wants to scream, I want the big name guy. I want the big name guy. I think the most important thing to go after are the guys who can fit the scheme and the guys who fit the bill the best.
Yeah.
And another thing I just want to touch on, John Lynch, his first couple years of his career, he didn't have full healthy seasons. So keep that in your head and just think about that. He had some injuries in his first 2 or 3 years of his career. And then after that, he got his body right, his nutrition right. He trained properly. And he had a pretty damn successful career after that. Okay? Super Bowl champion. And listen, this team probably spent a lot of money on that. I think his name was Brian Anderson, the guy that they hired for overall. He's going to see the overall physical fitness and medical side of this team, rehabilitation, training programs. This guy was paid big money to come in and look at this team and get this team back where it needs to be overall. So I think they have a high level of confidence in him and his thoughts and his programs and his ideas. And I think they're willing to try it. And they're going to test them. And they're going to bring in guys like Quan Alexander. Okay? They're going to test them. And, I believe in this guy. I believe in our organization that they believe in him. And I think everything's going to turn around. And I think this team is going to be successful. Okay? Everyone's worried about the ACL. Are you willing to throw Jimmy Garoppolo out the door? He tore his ACL.
Yeah, that's the same thing I said. Tony, I don't mean to cut you off, but we got Bryson on the phone from Arizona. So, Bryson, what's going on, man?
Nothing much.
You guys can hear him okay?
Yeah. What's up, Bryson?
Hey.
All right, Bryson. So, what's your overall thoughts, man, on everything that we're doing?
I mean, I like all the picks. The only thing I don't like David Mayo. I think that was kind of a waste. Like, I think we could put one of our other players to play special teams, but other than that, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, David Mayo pick to me was pretty much just a Brock Coyle fill-in since Brock Coyle was retiring, so maybe give him a chance. I don't know the details on the contract, so we can't really say much as to what it is. But what would you give an overall grade so far with the free agents that we've signed?
Probably an A-.
Okay, so is that a step ahead of what you would have gave the free agent signings last year?
Yes.
Yeah, so the team's definitely in better position. Out of the free agents that we've signed, what was your favorite pick or your favorite pickup? Not pick, but
My favorite pick was probably DB, the Jason Verrett. That one was probably my favorite. Not even gonna lie.
okay. That's it. That's definitely a low risk, high reward type of pickup. And like we've been talking about on the show, is if we get that pick or if we can get him to be healthy and actually finish and play, we got 2 number 1 corners on the outside. So I'm in agreement with you. I really love that pick too. Do you have what? Let me know anything else that you want to know, or like let the faithful know. Whatever you want to tell everybody.
Well, I got my social media just for YouTube. It's Staff Potter. Go subscribe or whatever. I'm coming out with a new highlight video, like a promo for the whole season. So I'm keeping up on all the players, doing the whole edit. So
nice. And
that's what I got.
How do you spell that? Just in case people couldn't understand you, I'll let them know as well.
STAFF, and then Potter, like in Harry Potter.
Okay, like with 1 T or 2 T's? 2 T's?
2 T's.
Okay, so STAFFPOTTER on YouTube, guys. Make sure you go and hit him up and subscribe. He does highlight videos and has been following the team and is going to put out one for the whole season. So make sure you go over there, hit that like and subscribe button, guys, right after the show. Make sure you go over and do that. Make sure you comment on his stuff as well. Let him know that you heard him on NBN or NB9ERS and that, make sure you like his stuff and stuff like that. So, Bryson, is there anything else, man?
I don't believe so.
All right, buddy. I appreciate the phone call in. I'm going to go check your channel out as well once we're done the show, and I'll go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. Thanks for joining us and supporting us as well.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. That was cool. Bryson, make sure you guys go over there and subscribe to that his YouTube channel. And then, hit that like and subscribe button. If there's I'm going to check the chat one last time. If not, we're going to hop out of here. I know Tony's been working probably a 13-hour day today. Sorry, I just turned my phone back on, so it came back up. See if there's any other questions in here. That's pretty much just, guys, one last time. I want to see what everybody rates the while we're talking and I'm doing the sign out and stuff, but I want to see what you guys all as fans and faithful rate this entire free agency so far with the guys that we have signed or acquired or traded for. Just give me an A to F grade in the chat and make sure you comment that as well if you're rewatching this or replaying this. Comment your grade of what you think that we got and spread the love. Show the friends about the Nothing But Niners podcast. You can check us out on YouTube. Obviously, hit the like and subscribe button. Set your bell for notifications for all breaking news. We do shows on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Thursday night is our fan interaction show. Sundays are debate days. And Tuesdays, we do pretty much anything about the team. Positional breakdowns. We talk about things that are going on, pressers and stuff like that on Tuesdays. So I'm seeing a lot of A's in here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 A's. One of them is an A-. One of them is a B. Noah Allen, screw the Niners. That's cool. Whatever. John Gone, A. A far exceeds my expectations. I'm fired up. Tim Duncan. Andy Smith, a solid B. Coco Smith, a B because as Couch Jim, I know it could be better. Free agency, a big B+. Griffin, A, I'm excited with the signing so far. B-, potential to be an A, Jonathan Gonzalez. Luke Walsh gave it a C+. Lynch did a good job patching roster holes before the draft. Rhodes Matheson, A. Eric, A. B, A. Trey Willie, B+. Lynch is killing it. Kevin Griffith says B+ for now. Could be at the A at the end of camp if everyone stays healthy. Noah Allen says solid F. That's not even the person that I was talking about. All right, so one last question. Where will we rank defensively this year? What's unacceptable? And that comes from West Coast. So that's going to be the last question we ask, guys, and then we're going to get out of here. So, Anthony, what are your expectations for this defense as it is right now? Before going into the draft, what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, and where would you grade this defense right now?
I really grade this defense as top 10 with the additions and with the signings. Top 10 defense, no doubt. Unacceptable really is anything below 15th. I know it's a high level to look at, but if you look at how this defense performed overall last season, overall it was 13th, I believe. I want to say 13th. Top 15 with bums and sticks at starting positions. I'm not going to lie. So if that can be top 15, what we've done now with Alexander and Ford and Barrett and Ward and all these guys, and even before the draft, it should already be top 10. Anything below 15 is unacceptable, without a doubt in my mind.
I agree, and like I said, I think we were actually 5th or 6th in the run defense last year and 13th overall. So being in a top 15th can easily be done. Tony, what is acceptable and unacceptable for you, and where do you rate this defense as of right now before we go into the draft?
I agree. Anything below 15 is no good. No good at all. Unacceptable. I think we could be. I agree with Anthony. I think we could be a top 5 team defense.
All right, so let's see. I believe Steph Potter, who just called in from YouTube, said, I believe we ranked first. We were already 13th. Anything past top 5, I'll be disappointed. I believe on paper we look better than the Rams coming in 2019. Rams have very minimal pieces. They didn't do a whole lot either. They brought in they re-signed Joyner. I think that was pretty much like their only move in the free agency.
Fowler.
No.
Fowler.
Oh, Fowler.
And
Yeah.
they brought
Fowler.
in Eric Weddle.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And then they signed Eric Weddle, right?
Yes.
So 2 players, but they lost Sue, which was a big help for Aaron Donald. But yeah, they're gonna have, last year and this year are gonna be big for the Rams because that's their little time window. So all right. So I am gonna go with top 10 as well. Anything below top 15 is unacceptable. I agree with that. I think we can be probably in a top 7. I would probably say realistically from what we added, because we can easily go from 13th to 7 with a pass rush and turnovers, because pass rush creates turnovers. The pieces that we added can create turnovers if healthy, and all of this barring on health. I really think that the strength and conditioning coaches will have this team healthy this year. No core muscle injuries, hamstrings and stuff like that. Broken bones and stuff like that. You can't help. So, guys, I'm shooting for a top 10 defense this year. Top 15 is probably my limit, which I don't think will be that low. But that's just keeping my expectations in a reality mode. So, Anthony, you got anything else before we go?
One last short thing for you guys and everyone in the chat and everyone who's been watching. We thank you so much to think about is we talked about how wide receiver and corner and safety could be addressed in the second round. I want to say don't rule out offensive line too. Hopefully we can get to that in the next video, but I want to point that out too, is that offensive line is something that has sneaky question marks. I'm not going to lie. We don't know what we have in guard. Joe Staley's time is coming. Rick Berg was totally off, but we can blame that on injuries. So overall, it's just something to think about. Offensive line is definitely something on this team that could be addressed too. And I won't be surprised with our second round if offensive line is addressed. Just something to take home, guys. Something to think about. The offensive line definitely looks or could be shaky. You never know.
Yeah. Tony,
Hey, Nick.
what's up?
Nick, I got to bail. I got 1% on my phone. It's about to cut off.
All right, homie.
All right, I'll see you later.
I'll see you. All right, Anthony.
Hi, Tony.
Yeah, Anthony can be followed on Twitter at Anthony Perry 925.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony Perry 925 on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at 49er Faithful 365. No S's in there. Wow, my phone was like frozen or something because I just seen it was like going crazy now. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We appreciate all of your tuning in, your support. The appreciation we have for you guys is well beyond what we think of. We're about 4,500 followers now. I'm waiting to that 5,000 followers. I have a Jimmy Garoppolo 94 throwback jersey that I will give away. It's an extra large, still in the package. Once we hit 5,000, we'll do a random drawing. So spread the love, spread the NBN love. You can also get some of our apparel. We got Birth of Dynasty shirts right here, 87. This is actually the catch play with every number of jersey number of the position that was on the field. Check that out. You can see that at nothingbutniners.com, all of our apparel there. Also, we have a Stone Cold Kittle shirt there as well. You can check that out. So follow us on Twitter, NothingBut9ERS. Follow us on Snapchat, NothingBut9ERS. Instagram and Facebook, Nothing But Niners, all spelled out. And check out our podcast. Leave a rating and a comment if you can. And that's on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play, wherever. We're all there. Check out nothingbutniners.com. Like I said, for all media, check out a slew of great writers that we have over there. Been putting out tons and tons of content for you. It's my go-to place because I love what our writers put out. I check that out, so go visit there. Check us on our shows on YouTube, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Tuesdays is usually positional team breakdowns, stuff like that, or during season it changes. Thursdays, fan interaction show. Obviously, you're here right now checking us out. You can call in, email. You can email and text our questions to us all week long that we'll answer on Thursday. And that number is 628-888-3443. You can call and leave a voicemail as well. We'll play that voicemail live over air. We'll talk about it. I don't really have anything else, guys. So other than that, thank you for joining in. I give the overall free agency a as of right now, even with the injuries, because I think these guys will be healthy, and I think it's a win-win for the Niners. We definitely hit some holes, pieces that we needed to address, not only in the draft, but addressed in free agency, and we're still under cap, so that's always a good thing. Anthony, I see you got something to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, man, I wouldn't have expected, and I said this at the very beginning, I wouldn't have expected Lynch and Shanahan to be this active at all. And last thing, I've been doing this for a little while now, but you guys are the best fans. You guys always interact with us. You guys always come out with questions, and we love it. And keep coming with the questions. Text us, send emails, add us on Twitter, add us on Instagram. Let us know. We always want to reply to you guys. We're always here for you guys.
Always. Like Anthony said, you can follow him at Twitter at Anthony Perry, ANTHONYPERRY 925. You can check me out on Twitter also, 49er Faithful 365. Other than that, guys, above all else, stay faithful. We out of here.